So in today's video, we're going to talk about what buyers should not do when buying real estate. And this is information you definitely don't want to miss. So stay tuned and we'll see you inside. Talk to y'all soon. Welcome back, y'all, to the second part of what buyers should not do when buying real estate. Again, my name is Jacob Martinez with the Living in Central Texas channel. And if this is the first time to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified of everything that's happening here in the Killeen, Temple, Texas area. Again, part 2 here. So if you didn't see part 1, I suggest you go back, look at the first 5 points. And now we're going to continue with the next point as to what you should not do when buying real estate. So point number 6 would be not researching the neighborhood. Okay, this is very important. The home itself is only part of the equation. The neighborhood plays a significant role in your daily life as the home's future value. A neighborhood's crime rate, local amenities, school quality, and the general vibe will impact your quality of life. I'm pretty sure you guys have always heard out there, location, 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 once you decide or look to buy real estate, right? The reason is because the better the location, the higher the taxes, sure, but the higher quality of living. A lot of times I get buyers that have a certain price point and that's what they can afford. So we're gonna help them within their area, right? And each neighborhood is different. I'm not saying that all neighborhoods are bad, because every neighborhood has their plus and their minuses. You're gonna have neighborhoods that are gonna be flat, right? A lot of flat land, a lot of houses there. You're gonna have a lot of other neighborhoods that are gonna be on, like what we call here in Central Texas, the hill country, right? There's gonna be hills or little, up and downs, little mountains there that people live on. We also have desert type areas, right? Or people that wanna live out in the country. Every neighborhood is different. I mean, do you want to live in an area that, let's say you're a young and up and coming couple and you guys are into the nightlife, you guys like to be in a place where there's a lot of shopping, there's a lot of hustle and bustle going on, restaurants. Is living out in the country the thing for you, right? Then you have other family members that have grown and they just want to live a quiet and peaceful life. They don't want to hear the noise from the city, so they want to live out in the sticks. So every family is different, every goal is different, but you always want to check, make sure what the crime rate is, especially if you have children, what the crime rate is, because you want to make sure they're safe, you want to make sure your wife is safe, and you want to make sure what amenities, because there are neighborhoods that do offer some great amenities like community pools and all these things for the kiddos to be there, right? So you always want to look at also, do they provide good areas for schools, good school areas? So remember, not researching a neighborhood can impact your way of life, especially if you're not thinking about your neighborhood and only thinking about the house, okay? So number 7, ignoring extra costs. This is super important. Many buyers fail to budget for the extra costs that come with home ownership, which can lead to financial strain down the road. These costs include like homeowners association fees, property taxes, home insurance, and ongoing maintenance expenses. So you always want to make sure that when you're buying a property, that your property is ready to go. You don't want to have an AC break down on you. And the reason why I'm laughing is because this happened to me about 4 or 5 years ago now, because I remember my daughter, 5 years, because my daughter was 2 years old at the time, and our central AC unit went down, and we were in our house for 3 whole weeks in the month of August here in Texas. So July and August historically are the hottest months in the state of Texas. So our house was like a furnace. We would take a shower, and as soon as we got out of the shower, we would dry ourselves off, and not even 10 seconds later, our bodies will start sweating because it was so hot. Okay, so you always want to make sure that when you're talking to your agent, to make sure that he or she also talks to you about budgeting. Obviously, when it comes to finances, your lender's the one that's going to be talking about that primarily, but your agent does have an idea simply because he or she have been doing this hopefully for many years. And so they have experience with other contractors, things in their past, and like myself, right? Where we can guide and say, hey, look, I believe that maybe you should work on this, because if this breaks down, you always want to have a little cushion to make sure that these expenses are ready to go. You also have HOA fees if you're looking to be in a new neighborhood. They're relative, at least for our area here in Central Texas, they're relatively low, okay? But there are some covenants and restrictions there, right? But these are fees that can add up like that, especially if you get blindsided like we did when our AC unit went down and we were 3 weeks out without AC at the house. So you always want to make sure that you do not ignore, okay, extra costs. Number 8. Now this is a big one, okay? Making large purchases before closing. Guys, this is a big no-no. Here's the problem. You've already gotten your pre-approval, right? You've gone through life, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, and you finally qualify. Your finances are in order, your debts are paid, your credit score has gone up, and so you finally get to the step where you are able to achieve your dream home, right? Or achieve home ownership, something you've been yearning for so long. You finally get pre-approved. You finally go look at houses. You put a house under contract and you're about to close within the next week or so. Well, unfortunately, it's happened where people out of the blue, because they're so excited, they're ready to go, they're ready to move into the house, they swipe a credit card or they take out a loan to pay for furniture to move into the house, and the day before or the day of closing, unfortunately, the lender pulls their credit, make sure that everything is still ready to go, and unfortunately, they lose the house because they made that boneheaded mistake. As your agent, it is our job to make sure that this does not occur. Because like I've said in the video prior, a lot of times we as agents have to save you from yourself because emotions are high. So large purchases, such as buying a new car or taking out a loan for furniture, can affect your credit score and debt to income ratio. Lenders review your financial situation before finalizing your mortgage, right before closing, right? And sudden changes to your financial picture can jeopardize your loan. In other words, right when you're at the finish line, your lender can say they do not qualify. And that is very heartbreaking, which to this day, thank God, I haven't had a client because everyone listens to me, thank God, all right? But I've heard stories from other agents within my area here locally, things that their buyers have done, unfortunately cost them their dream. That is not what we want for you. This is why we're telling you of things that you shouldn't do so that you can finally move into the house that you've been working for so many years. Another thing that you do not want to do is to skip a second viewing. In other words, during the first viewing of the house, you may overlook certain details or get caught up in the excitement of seeing new homes. A second viewing allows you to spot any issues you might have missed, assess the home more critically, and get a better sense of how the space feels over time. Guys, this happens so often. This is so common with many of my buyers. We go there, they fall in love, and many of them say, hey, Jacob, before I submit an offer, I really like this house, but can we go back and see it again? Sure, we go, and fair enough. There's times when they say, yeah, this is the house we want, but yet there's other times where they're like, you know what? Now thinking about it, it's not gonna work because, and then they start pointing out the reasons why, okay? So never skip a second viewing. That's what your agent is there for, to help you realize in the situation, hey, look, maybe this will work, maybe not. What do you think? And then you, as the final person, right, because you're the one that's going to be purchasing, You are the one that's going to decide if that's right for you and your family. So make sure you don't skip that viewing so that you can live happily in your home and not feel like it's a burden. The next step that we need to look at is not reading the fine print. Guys, make sure that the contracts that you guys are signing, you guys are aware of it. Okay, a good agent, right? An integral agent is always going to go over the documentation with you. Okay, so will your lender. So why is this crucial? Because real estate contracts can be complex. That's why we're here. We're licensed to help you and guide you through the contract, right? And contain terms or clauses, details in the contract that could lead to unpleasant surprises, such as unexpected fees, restrictions, or conditions, right? So you always want to make sure that when you're about to submit an offer with your agent, that he or she goes over the documentation with you so that you guys are secure in sending the offer or committing to the seller what you guys are willing to do. Okay, so always make sure that you read the fine print. Make sure you look at all the documents that come along with the home throughout the purchase. Same thing with your lender. If you have any questions throughout the process, you call your lender and say, hey, financially, what is this about? Or I have a question about this. This is what we're here for. Your agent and your lender are here to help you. So if you have any questions or concerns, reach out to them and they will be able to help you guys out. Now, if you're here in the Central Texas, obviously, give me a call. We'll help you guys out, okay? And 11, okay? The final step here is disregarding your needs for the future, right? These are things that you do not want to do. You do not want to disregard your needs for the future. A home that meets your needs today might not suit you in the future. Life circumstances change. The home you buy may now not be ideal in the future. And whether it's because of family growth, a new job, or lifestyle change, it's important to consider how well the property will serve you in years to come. Right? Now, keep in mind, when you're buying your first home, that may not necessarily be your forever home because you may be a young couple and 3-4 years later, now you have 3 kids. So now that home is not as big as you thought it was when you first moved in, right? So you always want to look at properties and have a mind for the future and say, well, what if this happens? Or what if that happens? Because you want to make sure that the property that you're buying will suit your needs, right? Not just for the moment, but also down the road, right? And so these are things that you must look into or take into account when you're looking at properties. So guys, we come to the conclusion of part 2 of what buyers should not do when buying property. If you haven't seen the first part, the first video, go back and watch it. But again, if you have any comments, the good, the bad, the ugly, write it down below. You want us to talk about a certain topic, let us know. And if you want to get on a phone call, or better yet, let's do some FaceTime. There's a Zoom link down below in the description. Jump on that link, set up an appointment. We'll be able to help you and guide you through there. And again, thanks for watching. Talk to y'all later.